It's a very good evening to you and welcome to the news at 8. I'm Joyce Mabika.
And I am Yvonne Mukondani. It is a pleasure having you with us. Susan Masona gives us the bulletin in sign language. These are our leading stories for tonight.
Zimbabwe registers major milestones on regional and global platforms.
In business, single African air transport market pilot project gains momentum.
And in sport, Bangladesh claim consolation win in final ODI.
Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. Zimbabwe has registered huge milestones on the regional and international platforms, with its influence multiplying after taking the United Nations Security Council seat as a non-permanent member.
The country is also set to assume COMESA chairmanship later this year. Our political editor, Bruce Chawanda, looks at Zimbabwe's growing influence and benefits set to be accrued.
During the first half of 2026, Zimbabwe has participated on the Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation and Binational Commission with a number of African countries as a way of expanding the investment opportunities across the continent. On the regional front, Zimbabwe is set to assume the chairmanship of COMESA later this year, which is a confirmation that the country's regional influence is growing. On the international scene, Zimbabwe was voted to assume a non-permanent seat of the United Nations Security Council, which speaks to the influence that the country has on peace and security. Stakeholders believe Zimbabwe's regional and global influence puts the country on a good pedestal for economic growth.
These JPCCs also are very important in the manner that they help us talk and remove trade barriers for us to trade more diligently. And this is the case with Zambia, and that has also helped trade amongst ourselves. And the same can be said for Kenya. We're also doing the same with Botswana. You know, we are coming from the same region, and some of the anti-bids that come through are not necessary. So we use such platforms to then pursue the agenda.
Economically, I think it speaks well to our stature as a nation, which obviously encourages foreign investments. When you've got a good name, tourism, I foresee a lot of people that were not really aware about Zimbabwe actually gaining interest because of our leadership roles internationally and within the region.
On different platforms, President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa is on record challenging the citizens and the business community to take advantage of the opportunities availed by regional economic blocs.
On the international relations front, I express gratitude to all countries who supported Zimbabwe and our subsequent election as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for the period 2027 to 2028. This endorsement reflects our nation's capacity to contribute towards global peace, security, and the shared development that is anchored on the rules-based system, state sovereignty, and multilateralism. Preparations for the hosting of the 2026 COMESA Summit and assumption of the chairmanship of the regional bloc are progressing well. Zimbabwe will be chairman with COMESA. The platform provides invaluable communities to advance our socio-economic development agenda while contributing to regional integration and sustainable development.
Through the friend to all and enemy to none philosophy under the leadership of President Emmerson Mnangagwa, Zimbabwe has opened up to investment in all sectors of the economy, while government has intensified infrastructure development, creating employment opportunities for the country's citizens. Bruce Chawanda, SABC News, Harare.
The president, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, says Zimbabweans must warmly welcome Zimbabwean nationals coming from the diaspora with love and assist them to resettle. He said this in a speech read on his behalf by Defense Minister Honorable Opa Muchinguri Kashiri at the Joanne V of Africa International Church Gathering held in Mvuma this Saturday. Our chief correspondent, Ruben Barry, gives us the details.
This mammoth congregation comes from within this country and from South Africa, Botswana, Zambia, and Mozambique, attending the yearly conference of Johann V African International Church, led by Archbishop Andibai Makururi. The guest of honor, the President of the Republic, Comrade Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, was represented by the National Chairman of the party and also Minister of Defense, Comrade Opam Chingurikashiri, and urged the members to continue following the dictates of good governance, good neighborhood, and they must exhibit that family nature of Zimbabweans when they receive the returnees from South Africa.
Let us continue to welcome our fellow brothers and citizens from the diaspora. Romans 12, verses 9 to 12 to 13 says, love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Never lack in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality.
The President also touched on the role of the church in the economic development of this country.
Dear brethren, the theme of this annual convention provides scope for us to continue focusing and working together the realization of our collective development aspirations. Vision 2030 is our covenant and appointment with the future for the realization of a prosperous and empowerment upper middle income society where no one and no place is left behind. Nyika inowakwa, igotongwa, igonamatirwa newe wayo.
He also urged the church congregants that we are what we are because of other countries that assisted us.
Ndiri kutenda kuti wari pano ndewe kuBotswana, newe kuMozambique, zvakare nekuZambia. Wakatibatsira nguva yehondo, wakatichengeta. Nanhasi vari kuchengeta mazana nemazana evana vedu munyika dzavo vakafiramo. Zimbabwe haikanganwi supreme sacrifice yamakaita.
So as these congregants listened to the head of state, he also reminded them that this church is growing in leaps and bounds, and the people who belong to this church must continue to be prayerful.
Gore rino muri kukurudzirwa kuti muchengete chikafu. Takatarisana neEl Nino, super drought yatiri kunzwa. Tinoda kuti madzimambo tichengetedze matura kuitira kugadzirira drought yatakasangana nayo. As we prepare for the 2026-2027 summer cropping, let us stay guided by the assurance of the Almighty God. In John 14 verses 13 to 14, which says, and I quote, "And I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it."
The president, quoting heavily from the Bible, said, this church has a future, and the people must adhere to the tenets of good governance, and he thanked Archbishop Andibai Makururi for a job well done.
Ndatumwazve kuti nditaure kuti pano panga pakunzi kuda wangabva president wati kwete havabvi. Saka matonzwa kuti mapepa acho atovapo. Kwete pano chete asi kune dzimwe nzvimbo zvezvakare dzanga dziri kunetsa wachinzi wabve. Zvino president wakati kwete. Saka mapepa acho wari kugadzirisa.
You could see the happiness, and through song and dance they demonstrated the love of their church, the love of their archbishop, and the love of the gospel. Ruben Barwe, ZPC News, Mvuma.
Meanwhile, regional integration has taken center stage at the 2026 annual convention of the Johani V of Africa International Church in Mvuma, where thousands of worshippers from Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, Mozambique and Zambia have converged. Church leaders say faith-based organizations have an important role to play in fostering unity, peace and development across the Southern African region.
If you want to see the scale of regional integration at play, look not beyond this sea of garments from across the SADC region. They have come from across these countries' borders with one common goal: to pray for a more unified region.
Ngori vana va South Africa vo chincha.
Because vana va South Africa vapindwa nemoya usina kumira zvakanaka.
Vochincha vono vatindau.
Vachincha vavashumba.
Queremos aqui dizer, continue a orar por nós. E muito obrigado, Excelência.
Balo avo vanalenga kuti vatibai makururu vatipase chechi ku Zambia.
But this is no longer just about prayer. The church leadership is now pushing for a Pan-African ideology centered on development.
Isu sema church emuno mu Africa tinotarisira development, not my election. Totarisira runyararo, not hondo. Mweya mutsvene uchidzidzisa wakati nekuda kwechinhu chakanaka dzose idzodzo hondo dzinodzimurwa nemweya mutsvene. Ndoda kutenda His Excellency Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, president wedu wenyika, ane muono wakakura unovaka nyika yedu yeZimbabwe. Sara yedu isu semabhishopi nderei? Nderekuisa runyararo mukati menyika, kubatanidza Africa yose. Ndiri kufara kuti Mozambique iri pano, South Africa iri pano, Botswana iri pano, nedzimwe nyika dzakatikomberedza.
Now as governments continue to pursue deeper regional integration through trade and infrastructure development, the church is proving to be an equally important player in this. Through religious diplomacy, as people-to-people relations have proven time and again to be the center. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Chiruma.
Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga has implored Zimbabweans to foster peace and emulate the selflessness of early pioneers of the St. Kilian's mission to accelerate church and nation building. He made the remarks during the centenary celebrations of St. Kilian's mission in Makoni District, Manicaland Province this Saturday.
Addressing congregants at the celebrations, Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga paid a tribute to the collaborative efforts of the church and the community that have sustained the institution for 10 decades, noting that true discipleship requires a shared burden between the clergy and ordinary citizens.
Through the sacrifices of priests, religious sisters and brothers, catechists, teachers, parents and generations of parishioners. That seed has grown into a strong and vibrant mission that continues to transform lives. We honor those pioneers whose vision, courage, and unwavering commitment laid the foundation upon this mission continues to flourish. We also celebrate everyone who faithfully carried that legacy forward over the past century.
Vice President Chiwenga further implored local communities to safeguard national stability by fostering harmony at community level.
The unit found in the mystery of the Holy Spirit teaches us how to live in harmony as one family in Christ. Though we come from different backgrounds, let us remain united in one faith. Toziva kuti Mwari akasika munhu wese nemufananidzo wake. Naizvozvo ngatibatanei tiremekedzane mukuvaka kereke yedu nenyika yedu.
The centenary celebrations were also a reflective milestone, bringing together generations of alumni who walked down memory lane to honor the institution's 100-year journey.
Matichiro aita Sister Concilia. Mathematics yakabva yanditakura kusvika kwandakasvika.
Chikoro sezvo mazviziva ndakafunda pano kubva 1956 primary.
Congratulatory messages poured in from the Roman Catholic Pastoral Council, the clergy, religious congregations, and local traditional leaders, who all commended the mission for its century of service.
Pano pakaumiridzwa mweya yevanhu. Pano pakarodzwa njere dzevanhu. Pano pakavakwa zvivakwa zvidiki nezvikuru.
Muna 1929 sekutaura kwandaita muparishi muno nekuTriziu maishanda Missionary Marian Hugh Brothers vakazosimuka vachibva paSt Kilians vachitambidza maJesuits parish ino.
Vice President Chiwenga also presented certificates of appreciation to the mission's voluntary catechists for their dedicated spiritual service. Gay Matambo, ZBC News, Makoni.
The body of the late national hero, Major General retired Richard Ruodo, is expected to be flown to his farm in Macheke and his rural home in Watsomba, Manicaland province this Sunday. The details from John Nandara.
Tributes continue to pour in for the late national hero, Major General retired Richard Ruodo, who died on the 7th of July and was declared a national hero. The body of the national hero is now expected to be flown to his farm in Macheke and his rural home in Watsomba this Sunday.
Tanga mangwana makusensen General Waning Warchi Simuka one commando wachimbo shika kwa Pras Pao for a very brief stop en route wachizo shika kumusha kwa Mutare, where there will be a procession, a bit of a proceedings that will be managed by the province as well as Murinengeri Kumusha. After that, he will then proceed to fly back into Harare.
The family of the late national hero remembers him as a unifier and a dedicated family man.
Munhu anga chiti yananisa mune zvese zvatinodi zvatinoenda nazvo semhuri.
My dad had a heart of gold. He was a generous man, he was a loving man, not just to us as the family, but also to his friends, his work colleagues.
A colleague, Brigadier General retired Ezekiel Zabanyana, said that the late was a dedicated military man.
We worked together from 1980 when we were amalgamated into the Zimbabwe National Army. He was my boss, and he can only be remembered as one of the strategic thinkers, and he demonstrated to anyone within the Zimbabwe National Army that he was a commander par excellence. Not only a commander, but a strategic commander. He will be remembered as someone who left a trail of successes.
The late national hero rose through the ranks in the Zimbabwe National Army to attain the rank of Brigadier General before being promoted to the rank of Major General upon retirement in 2008. He went on to serve as acting permanent secretary in the Ministry of Defense and War Veterans Affairs, and later as chief director and director for War Veterans Affairs. He is survived by his wife, Mrs. Lois Ruodo, and 3 children. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Meanwhile, national hero Major General retired Richard Ruodo will be buried at the National Heroes Acre on Monday, with the President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, expected to preside over the burial. Now, in other news, Treasury has released funding for the completion of Mariga Primary School in Mbire District, marking a significant step towards expanding access to education in previously marginalized communities and advancing government's inclusive development agenda.
Residents of Mbire District have welcomed the finalization of the Mariga Primary School project after Treasury released funds to complete the construction, which had stalled in 2016.
Kanekuya kwaita vakuru kuzoona nestream dzataurwa kuti kubva izvozvi kusvika muna December otherwise rinenge rapera. Saka vabereki nzvimbo ino vanenge vakutofara zvikuru.
Mwana ingoti akangogara chete asingaende kuchikoro.
The school is expected to serve at least 350 learners, with government intensifying efforts to improve educational access among the Doma community.
Currently, as we are speaking, the government has released 14 million for the projects. We have already engaged the contractor together with the public works.
Special advisor to the president responsible for monitoring and implementation of government programs, Dr. Joram Gumbo, toured the project during an assessment visit this Thursday.
We are witnessing the revival of a project that had stalled from 2016, and the Second Republic is now making sure that it is completed.
National and Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo, said the project reflects our government's commitment to inclusive development.
I would want to applaud His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, for walking the talk of leaving no one and no place behind. As you can see, this infrastructure is availed funds for completion of this school, Mariga.
Government engaged a private contractor to complete the project, with works scheduled to commence on the 1st of August and run through to December. Once complete, Mariga Primary School is expected to open its doors at the beginning of next year. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mbire. Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 is expected to accelerate Zimbabwe's march towards Vision 2030 by entrenching a policy continuity and strengthening social cohesion.
The recently gazetted Constitution of Zimbabwe Amendment Act number 3 is being held as a catalyst for inclusive development, with government saying the law provides the policy stability needed to accelerate investment, service delivery and social safety nets under Vision 2030. This came out during a food distribution initiative in Kwekwe.
As recently asserted by the head of state and government, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces is now part of our supreme law of our mother Zimbabwe. The Constitution of Zimbabwe. The law buttresses investor confidence, policy continuity, and stability for accelerated implementation of tangible, milestone, and impactful projects, which include clinics, hospitals, ports of entries, power generation, housing infrastructure, social safety needs, and private sector-led investments.
The food hampers distributed to over 500 elderly people and persons with disabilities reinforce the Second Republic's National Development Strategy 2 commitment to protecting vulnerable households and ensuring no one and no place is left behind.
ndinozwa manyukunyuku mukati memoyo wangu kufarira zvandaitirwa nemwana watakabereka.
Anotenda chaizo vamunangarwa purezi vari kutitungamirira zvakanaka. Vayeuka chembere dzavo dzekumushama vakakurira saka nesuwo muzuva ranhasi tine mufaro wakapetwa.
As Zimbabwe advances constitutional reforms alongside social protection programs, vulnerable communities continue to experience the tangible benefits of inclusive development. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Kwekwe.
The people of Shamva South constituency have welcomed the passing of Constitutional Amendment No. 3 bill into law, saying it provides room for the nation to focus on development.
Development and empowerment were key on the agenda as the people of Shamva South constituency met in Bindura to review the first half of the year. Shamva South legislator Honorable Joseph Mapiki gave an update of the new Constitutional Amendment No. 3 Act while donating sewing machines and a tile cutting machine to empower women and youths.
Isu sema MP nemakhanzela takuchifanira kuzadzisa shuwiro yevanhu yavakati ngatipuwe imango makore maviri but yanyaya yebudiriro kuno kuse kuHoodbrook mutaundi tiri kuda kuti vanhu vashandise mabasa avo emaoko vasone vaite kubika sipo vaite zvekudhiraya mavegetables vari edition ese tichafamba nawo tichienda kuma innovation hubs kuti vaone kuti zvirimwa zvatinazvo panyaya dzeagroprocessing vangakwanisa kunge vachiita zvipo.
The constituency welcomed the new law, stressing that no one should be left behind the national development trajectory, while commending the newly launched empowerment initiative.
Takutenda kuti amene bill number 3 yedu wamutemo zvanakira isusu manje kuti ezvinezvi takatarisa taingoti every 5 years taenda kunovhota zvichitadza basa zvidonhedzera nyika pasi saka zvinezvi tiri kutozvitenda kuti munhu wese akumbopiwa nguva yekushanda.
Tapuwa mishini yekusonesa mabasa emavoko, vana vedu vapiwa mushini wokuitisa matiles kuti tipedze urombo.
Netime iripo yakutopawo futi kuti president vachiti kana vakada kuisa zvishuwo zvavo kuvanhu vanogona kuzadzikisa.
Calls were made for the women and youths to embrace government-led development programs and economic initiatives in line with the objectives of the new Constitutional Amendment No. 3 Act. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Bindura. The Agricultural and Rural Development Authority, ADA, has rolled out a mobile traditional grains collection program targeting over 6,000 farmers contracted to produce sorghum and pearl millet in Chiredzi and Mwenezi districts. The move aims to boost national traditional grain reserves, enhance food security, and promote healthy traditional diets.
Other trucks are now moving from village to village here in Chiredzi, buying traditional grains directly from farmers. The aim is to reduce costs for farmers and to provide ready markets.
Under the program, ADA is collecting traditional grains at designated points in rural communities. Farmers are relieved, saying they no longer worry about transporting their grain to the Grain Marketing Board, which was costly.
Tinofara zvisikambobviri nekuvigwa nevana kuvigwa kuzoti titakurirwe zvirimwa zvedu pasina mubhadhara watinobhadhara.
Rori yelo yakatomira pano pabanga iri kutorera mapfunde edu atakarima idonzo rakanaka torigamuchira nemaoko maviri.
Murimi akukwanisa kungosenga zvinhu zvake nengoro yake achiuya panzvimbo obva atowana mari yake.
Over 6,000 farmers are contracted under traditional grains production, working on 15,000 hectares, with ADA planning to increase hectarage and engage more local farmers next season.
To date, we have collected more than 7,000 metric tons to the depot, and we are still anticipating to move as far as Bobi Flora and down there in Chikombedzi. The main thrust is the government of Zimbabwe opened 1,804 depots so that we can reach to the end of each and every farmer, leaving no one and no place behind.
Government says promoting traditional grains supports climate adaptation and nutrition. Farmers are also being trained on good production and storage practices to improve yields and quality. The mobile collection initiative by government is expected to run up until end of August, and this will ease the burden of transportation on farmers as the collection points are now a doorstep away. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Chirezi.
For more news, you can visit our website www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also interact with us on Facebook, YouTube, X, as well as Instagram. Our handle, ZBC News Online. Our stories still to come in this bulletin. In business, Single African Air Transport Market pilot project gains momentum. And in sport, Bangladesh claim consolation win in final ODI. Stay tuned for those and more stories coming up after this break.
Beneath our soil lies more than mineral wealth. It is opportunity, innovation, and the foundation of Zimbabwe's industrial future. From resource extraction to value addition, manufacturing, transport, and energy, Zimbabwe is driving growth through mining value chains. And every year, the leaders shaping this future gather under one roof. Welcome to MineEntra 2026. The premier platform where mining companies, suppliers, investors, innovators, and policymakers connect, collaborate, and unlock new opportunities. Join us from the 29th to the 31st of July 2026 at the Zimbabwe International Conference and Exhibition Smart City in Bulawayo. Exhibit at MineEntra 2026 to expand your network and grow your business. Register your attendance today. MineEntra 2026. Unearth, transform, prosper. Anchoring economic transformation through mining value chain.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches from as little as $10. Live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
For over a decade, Zimbabwe waited. Now our game returns. One nation, one competition, one dream. Bringing Zimbabweans together through the game they love. From juniors to professionals, from beach soccer to futsal, from every corner of Zimbabwe, a pathway from community fields to national teams. The Munumutapa Challenge Cup is calling all genders, all regions, all of Zimbabwe. The biggest cup challenge this nation has ever seen. Follow the journey, support your team, be part of history.
Thank you for staying with us. The Gandavare community in Gokwe is already enjoying the benefits of government's rural industrialization drive after the electrification of the area by the Rural Electrification Agency.
Efforts by government to leave no one and no place behind in the development matrix is continuing across the country, with 2 schools, a clinic, a business center, and various households in Gokwe being the latest to benefit from government's rural electrification program. The development has come as a relief to the local community.
iye zvino ndinofara nekuti takudyira fresh meat. Kare taiti tikaenda kutaundi mogara kupi togara kugandaro kumachonyonyo. Iye zvino ngavauye vaone kuti kwachenda sei.
Takukwanisawo kutengesawo zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana zvinotengeswawo kumatauni. Mapoloni, madrinks.
Vana vedu vakudzidzawo zvapamusoro zvakanga zvisingagoni kudzidzirwa pasina magetsi. Makombiyuta, masainzi zvisingagoni kuitwa pasina magetsi vakuita vana vedu. Takuisawo zvima TV kuti vaonewo kuti zviri kubuda kune dzimwe nyika, bhora rakabuda kune dzimwe nyika vakurionawo tiri kuno.
Patakaona magetsi zvinhu zvakatinakira. Nange manesi anga achititiza mamwe achiti zvinotauya kumatondo kana zvadayiwo magetsiwo atinowa kufara.
Rural Electrification Agency acting CEO Mrs. Felista Makumbinde gave an update of similar projects being spearheaded by the agency.
In every province, there is another community solar mini grid that is in progress, that is scheduled to be completed in this year. And as you have seen here, with community solar mini grids, the anchor loads come from the primary school, from the secondary school, from the clinic and the business center. So we are targeting those to be electrified.
Government is confident that the electrification program will play a pivotal role in stimulating growth and development in the community.
Zvipatara zvedu tinobatsirika pakuti chero mishonga chaiyo yakugona kustoweka inoda marefrigerator anoda magetsi kozoti vanhu vanopona chero neusiku hwese zvinoreva kuti kwakushandika.
Pazuva ranhasi tarisai muone taisa dzimba dzevanhu vekumaruva dzinodarika 17 magetsi, tikaisa kliniki yedu magetsi, tikaisa zvikoro magetsi.
This off-grid at 95 kilowatts is able to assist the schools, and we hope that the pass rate will increase. That's the benefit to the community. We also hope that there will be cottage industries, welding, magejo, scotch cards, and help the community, which is a farming community.
The target by government is to work on ensuring the massive rollout and implementation of the electrification program to benefit more communities. Wadzanai Mandima, ZBC News, Gokwe.
Community-based environmental conservation projects being implemented by the government and its development partners under the Global Environment Facility 7 are transforming livelihoods in Masvingo province.
More than 120 members of a community group, the Rufaro Environmental Management and Community Development Association in Masvingo district, are benefiting from climate-smart initiatives that include poultry and livestock production, agroforestry and citrus farming under the GEF7 Dryland Sustainable Landscapes Impact Program. The interventions are improving household incomes while promoting sustainable management of natural resources and strengthening communities' resilience to climate change.
Project inoye isitaigamuchira iri kusumudza nharaunda yedu kuti nharaunda yedu kuti munhu wose akwanise kuita mari.
Vanhu vakatanga kudzidziswa kuti vachengetedze nharaunda dzavo, vapedza kuchengetedza nharaunda dzavo vachisima miti yemusango nemiti yemuchero. Tava stage yokuti tava kuchipfuwa huku dzechikaranga.
Project inotibatsira pakurarama nezvinowanikwa padhuze nesu zvemunharaunda.
Government officials and development partners this week toured the project to assess progress, with beneficiaries expressing optimism that the initiative is enhancing food security, creating income-generating opportunities, and restoring degraded ecosystems.
If you look around, the area is completely changed. People are now looking after their natural environment, restoring the natural environment by planting indigenous trees, supported by Forestry Commission. EMA is also coming in to assist technically with issues of restoring the land that had become degraded.
This is a project funded by GEF in its 7th cycle, and it's implemented as a program. So the program is actually in 11 countries, and we're calling it the Dryland Sustainable Landscapes Impact Program. So for Zimbabwe, the focus is mainly the dryland areas of the country.
What we do under this program is both to protect the environment, but also to make sure that we provide to the communities to be able to sustain their families, but also to diversify their economies.
Zimbabwe is implementing the GEF7 Integrated Landscape Management Program with support from the Global Environment Facility through the Food and Agriculture Organization. The program seeks to promote sustainable land management, biodiversity conservation, and climate resilience in selected landscapes, while improving the livelihoods of rural communities in line with the country's environmental protection and sustainable development agenda. Mace Matina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
Zimbabwe's current account surplus and relative stability in the ZiG exchange rate are strengthening investor confidence, with the government maintaining a 5% economic growth forecast for 2026.
The outlook was presented at the Matabelele North Investment Indaba, where the province showcased investment opportunities across mining, agriculture, tourism and manufacturing as part of efforts to attract long-term capital into export-oriented projects. Treasury says subdued inflation and a broadly stable ZiG official exchange rate, trading around 26 against the United States dollar, are supporting economic confidence, while gradual market-based reforms remain central to maintaining stability.
As government, we remain committed to working closely with the private sector, development partners and investors to unlock sustainable economic growth, create quality jobs, expand exports, and improve the livelihoods of our people in order to realize the aspirations of Vision 2030.
Matabelele North is positioning itself as a destination for long-term capital, leveraging its mining, agriculture, forestry and tourism assets to attract investment into bankable projects aligned with industrial expansion and export growth.
Let us seize this moment to translate ideas into bankable projects, partnerships into investment, and investment into sustainable development that creates jobs and empowers our communities.
The government says the next phase of economic development will focus on processing raw materials locally while expanding infrastructure to improve competitiveness.
We have seen government led by Comrade Mnangagwa, all his ministers rally around the need to ensure that we beneficiate our agricultural resources, we beneficiate our mineral resources, and then that way paving way for investment opportunities in beneficiation as we move up the value chain.
Strengthening macroeconomic stability while attracting productive investment will remain key to Zimbabwe's growth strategy as the country moves towards a more export-oriented economy.
Zimbabwe has positioned itself at the forefront of a regional transition in the implementation of a single African air transport market pilot project. Our business report for tonight.
The high-level delegation from the African Civil Aviation Commission, AFCAC, which is in the country for the single African air transport market pilot implementation project, Zimbabwe Airshow, has emphasized on the need to accelerate liberalization of air transport on the continent, a development they say is in sync with aspirations of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
The Continental Study on the benefits of SATAM projects that full implementation will increase intra-African traffic, it will reduce average fares, it will open additional country pairs, and it will raise frequencies on existing routes and improve connectivity.
For Zimbabwe, SATAM presents a significant opportunity with its strategic location in Southern Africa, excellent tourism assets such as Victoria Falls, and a growing transport infrastructure. Zimbabwe has the potential to become an important regional aviation and tourism hub.
The single African air transport market is talking about integration. It's about liberalization. It's about coming together. We don't have to go out of Africa in order to come back to Africa. It's about increasing intra-Africa connectivity.
AFCA Secretary General Adeimi Adefunke noted that there is urgent need to remove barriers affecting air connectivity.
For industry and commerce, SATAM must facilitate the movement of goods and not just passengers. The Loma Declaration emphasizes the need for priority passenger and cargo corridors aligned with the AfCFTA value chains.
According to Transport and Infrastructural Development Minister Honorable Felix Mona, Zimbabwe on its part has already invested in modern airspace management infrastructure.
Under the guidance of our great leader, Comrade Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa, Zimbabwe has invested significantly in the rehabilitation, expansion, and modernization of 3 major international airports, namely Joshua Nkomo International Airport, which is in Bulawayo, the Victoria Falls International Airport, and Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport. Simultaneously, we invested in modern airspace management infrastructure, including a secondary surveillance radar system and upgraded air traffic control systems to enhance aviation safety and operational efficiency.
The Single African Air Transport Market Pilot Implementation Project Zimbabwe Airshow was held under the theme Acceleration of Air Transport Liberalization in Africa to improve continental connectivity and integration. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly with sport.
Starbright is back. Bigger, louder, life-changing. Do you have what it takes to be a star? This is your moment to shine. Stand a chance to win $3,000 cash, plus a residential stand, a recording contract, and many other exciting complimentary prizes. For one life-changing winner, all it takes is a bold decision. Registration is only $5 per person. $5 could unlock your future. $5 could launch your dream. So, what are you waiting for? Register now for only $5 using our easy WhatsApp registration system. Simply send hi to the official Starbright WhatsApp number 0786-259-971. Follow the prompts to submit your details. Upload your audition video directly on WhatsApp, less than 60 seconds long. Make your payment. Receive instant confirmation of your registration. It's fast, simple, and convenient. Thousands will audition, but only a few will rise to greatness. Don't watch others become stars while you stay in the shadows. This could be your season. This could be your breakthrough. This could be your Starbright moment. Starbright, Season 14. It's your time to shine.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches from as little as $10. Live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
Welcome back to the news at 8. Zimbabwe wrapped up the 3-match one-day international series 2-1 despite slipping to a 7-wicket defeat against Bangladesh in the dead rubber at Harare Sports Club this Saturday.
210 at Harare Sports Club with Zimbabwe winning the series. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it a whitewash, but they'll be happy with their efforts, especially in the bowling department that managed to defend low totals 141 in the first match, 243 in the second match. Unfortunately, they couldn't replicate that in the final ODI as they dropped 6 catches, and that is an area that the selectors and the coaches will be really looking on as they go forward. But when it comes to the betting, there are also some good knocks despite the low totals. Ben Karen coming up with a century, Brad Evans with 2 half centuries, and Wesley Madavere also managing to get his highest score of 75 in the final ODI. The two teams now shift focus to the T20s that erupt in Bulawayo starting on Thursday, and the Chevrons and Bangladesh will both be making their way to the City of Kings this Sunday. Lawrence Trusida, ZBC News, Harare.
Highlanders fought back to earn a valuable point after holding FC Platinum to a 1-1 draw in an entertaining Kasolaga Premier Soccer League clash at Mandava Stadium in Rishavane this Saturday.
Isas Kagurab proved to be the missing piece for the hosts, creating numerous early goal-scoring opportunities on his debut, with one of them setting up Oscar Bebe to hand FC Platinum the lead in the 15th minute. With Boso trailing, the search for an equalizer intensified and Kudakwashe Mahachi won a penalty in the 25th minute after being brought down inside the box. Nigerian import Benjamin Odigan made no mistake from the spot, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way to take his tally to 5 league goals this season. The coaches had contrasting sentiments after the final whistle.
Credit to the players. You know, if you get to these points and then you didn't lose much, it shows where we're going. This is a process. You know, the process, I know we've got a lot of draws though, but it's better to draw than to lose.
We are disappointed as a club. That is the 4th time that we haven't managed to win. But we keep on working very hard. I think the new boys that came, they gave us a different dimension, and we're hoping that maybe with 2 or 3 weeks they will gel with the other boys and manage also to give us what we expect.
Meanwhile, in other matches played on Saturday, the top of the table clash between Cape United and Ngezi Platinum Stars ended goalless at Rufaro Stadium, with Makepekepe now winless in 6 consecutive matches. Simba Bora defeated Bulawayo Chiefs 2-0 at Wazana Stadium. Chicken Inn beat Manika Diamonds 2-1 at Baba Fields, while FC Hunters salvaged a point in a 1-0 draw away to ZPC Kariba. Action continues on Sunday, with Dynamos travelling to face Moors at Ngoni Stadium. Erinda was hosting Hard Rock at Rufaro Stadium, while Agama and Triangle United battle in a crucial relegation encounter at Wazana Stadium.
Spain left it later to break Belgian hearts, snatching a dramatic 2-1 victory to book a FIFA World Cup semi-final date with France.
Spain needed nerves of steel and an 88th minute winner to edge Belgium 2-1 in a gripping World Cup quarter-final and keep their title dream alive. The two European giants were deadlocked at 1-1 from the first half, setting up a 10-second period as both sides searched desperately for the breakthrough. Just when extra time looked inevitable, substitute Michael Merino struck 2 minutes from full-time to send Spain into the last 4 and spark wild celebrations among La Roja supporters. Earlier surprise starter Fabian Ruiz had given Spain the lead before Charles de Ketelaere restored parity for Belgium before the break. Spain will now face France on the 14th of July in what promises to be one of the standout semi-finals of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Quarter-final action continues this Saturday as Norway take on England, with kick-off set for 11 p.m. Mthokozi Stube, ZBC News.
Zimbabwe's Sables face their biggest test of the World Rugby Nations Cup when they face United States in a historic first-ever meeting between the two nations on Sunday.
The Sables will be aiming to make another statement on the international stage when they lock horns with the United States in the round 2 of the World Rugby Nations Cup on Sunday at the American Legion Memorial Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. The match, which kicks off at 1:30 a.m. Zimbabwean time, will be the first ever meeting between Zimbabwe and the Eagles, presenting the Sables with a valuable opportunity to measure their progress against one of the world's higher-ranked rugby nations. Zimbabwe heads into the encounter ranked 24th, 8 places behind the 16th placed United States, who also come into the fixture buoyed by victory over Portugal in their tournament opener. Despite the gap in the rankings, the Sables showed encouraging signs in their 36-26 defeat to Tonga and will be looking to build on that performance against another Rugby World Cup bound nation. For Zimbabwe, the Nations Cup is serving a bigger purpose than the results alone. The tournament is being used to benchmark the team's development against higher-ranked opposition ahead of the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Lawrence Ruseda, ZBC News, Harare.
And all the best to our Sables in that historic encounter. And that's it for sport, taking us to the weather report and forecast.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and a warm welcome. It is time to check your weather details. My name is Benjamin Kwaramba. I hope I find you well. Very cold conditions were experienced in most parts of the country in the early hours of today, with severe ground frost being reported in Matopos, Gweru, and Kai. In fact, Matopos had -3 degrees Celsius at ground. Mild to warm conditions were experienced in most areas by afternoon. Towards evening, it became cold in all areas. Now we look at your minimum temperatures for the main city centers. The capital city, Harare, with 10 degrees Celsius, Bulawayo with 9, Gwanda with 10, Chires 11, up North Kariba with 15, Victoria Falls expect 10 degrees Celsius, Mutare with 11, your maximum. temperatures, the capital city 23 degrees Celsius, Kobulawayo 26 with plenty of sunshine, Gwanda 25, that is Chirezi with 28, 27 at Mutare, up north Kariba with 29, same with Victoria Falls and Lupane, Goke with 25, same with Gweru. Plenty of sunshine over Bulawayo, but it should be very cold with severe ground frost expected in the early hours. Matopos again expect some ground frost in the early hours, but it should be mild to warm in the afternoon. Gwanda cold at first, becoming mild to warm in the afternoon with plenty of sunshine. Masvingo expect some cold conditions, bit of cloud on Monday. It should be mild to warm in the afternoon. Gweru expect some severe ground frost in the early hours. It should be mild in the afternoon. Mutare, bit of cloud on Sunday and Monday, cold at first, becoming mild in the afternoon. Nyanga, very cold conditions. In fact, expect some severe ground frost over Nyanga, bit of cloud here and there. It should be cool in the afternoon. And Marondera, again, very cold conditions. Expect a bit of cloud on Monday. Severe ground frost expected, but it should be cool in the afternoon. Harare, expect cold conditions in the morning. It should be mild by afternoon. Kwekwe, very cold conditions with ground frost. Kadoma, cold at first, becoming warm in the afternoon with plenty of sunshine. Chinoi, again cold at first, becoming warm in the afternoon with plenty of sunshine. Lupane, very cold, expect some slight to moderate ground frost. Pindura, cold at first, bit of cloud on Monday, warm in the afternoon. Victoria Falls, plenty of sunshine, should be mild to warm by afternoon. Lastly, Kariba, cold at first, becoming warm in the afternoon with plenty of sunshine. Well, Zimbabwe, thank you for watching. Let's make a date again tomorrow at the same time. It is back to the main desk.
Many thanks to the Met Services Department for giving us the way of the weather. But before we go, do remember, Joyce, we are available on various social media platforms.
Yes, we are available. You can interact with us on Facebook. We are always live on our bulletins. We are ZBC News Online. We're also available on YouTube, Yvonne.
Yes, we are on YouTube, and we have an Instagram page. So do make sure you hit the follow button on Instagram. We are ZBC News Online, on X as well with ZBC News Online, and we also have a WhatsApp channel where we'll be giving you news on the go. The handle remains ZBC News Online, so make sure you follow us on each and every social media platform so that you're always caught up with what's happening in and around Zimbabwe.
And also not forgetting our website, www.zbcnews.co.zw. And on that note, a reminder of the stories that made the headlines in this bulletin.
Zimbabwe registers major milestones on regional and global platforms.
A single African air transport market pilot project is gained momentum.
And in sport, Bangladesh claim consolation win in final ODI.
And that's all we had for you on the news at 8. From all of us here, it's good night.
Good night.